This lesson, I am going to walk you through the 5 phases to creating technical content. So here's the good news. You don't have to ever start from scratch when it comes to creating technical content. It doesn't matter what type of content you are creating. It's always good to have some sort of framework so you're never feeling like you're starting from scratch or you don't know where to start, all right? So one of the most popular models that are used by technical writers, including instructional designers, training developers, online learning specialists, and curriculum developers, is the ADDIE model, which stands for Analysis, Design, Develop, Implement, and Evaluate. Now, I made just some few tweaks to this model so that it reflects the work that you will be doing as a technical writer. So it's a little bit more realistic and more specific to help you kind of think through the process when it comes to creating content. So whether you're creating a user manual, a how-to article, product specifications, no matter what it is, video instructions, etc., you always want to start with the first phase, which is the analysis phase. Now, when it comes to being a technical writer, you always want to think about who is it you are writing for. So I like to start with analyzing the user. You want to get to know who it is that you are writing for and why. It doesn't make sense to analyze a whole bunch of other things if you're not sure who you're writing for, because the way that you would write for someone who is completely new to the software or the app or the product that you're writing about, you would write the content for them completely different for compared to someone who is extremely savvy or has a lot of experience with the particular product, right? The way that you speak to them, the tone in which you speak to them, the level of complexity in which you speak to them totally changes depending on who the user is and what you are trying to help them achieve or accomplish, right? So you want to start asking yourself some questions about who the user is. What is it that they need to do? Are they trying to solve a particular problem? Are they in trouble right now? Are they struggling right now and they need help with a particular situation? Or are they just looking for more information about how something works, right? Do they need step-by-step instructions? So these are some things that you want to think about when it comes to the first phase, which is analyzing the user. Now, in this particular course, you will have lessons that cover the different steps. So, but below this, in this worksheet, you have some questions to kind of help you get your ideas flowing as far as this whole process goes. But throughout the course, you will have more opportunities to explore these different phases. All right, so the second phase is designing your content strategy. So what that really means is planning the type of content that your user needs and how are you going to deliver that content to them and how are they going to actually access that information. So it's one thing to create instructions, let's say a how-to article, right? But think about the different ways that they can become more aware of this brand new feature that you're working on. So let's say that they are on an app, right? How would you let them know that there's this new feature that they should know about and how it works? You could figure out maybe we should have a pop-up button or a help button or something that lets the user know here is this new feature. And then maybe you can think of some screens with very simple text or some kind of very simple video that explains how the new feature works. And that's just the app portion of it. What about if they're not using the app and they're on the website? Maybe they're going through the Help Center section or they're just learning about how the application works. So maybe you want to have a section in the troubleshooting area of the website or the how-to area of the website that explains in detail how this new feature works. Or maybe you want to do a blog that explain how the new feature works, or send out an email. There are different ways to communicate to your user, right? So it's not just about, okay, this is how something works, but you also have to think about, how do we get them to know that this feature is new, or that this feature has been updated, or this is something that they need to know how to do in order to accomplish a specific task. You want to think about the full experience of the user. So this is the planning phase of the ADDIE model. All right. The third phase of the model is developing your content. So this is where you actually start writing. You want to think about how it should be formatted. Should it be in a 1, 2, 3 step-by-step type of format? Should it be a little pop-up message, which is also known as a tooltip? Should it be a link that they click that opens up to the help center area of the website? So you want to, this is the part where you actually create and start writing. You want to think about the format and the structure of your content. All right. And in the next few lessons, you will walk through the 7 C's as far as developing that content. The next phase is implementing feedback from reviews. So in this particular exercise, you will see that your product manager gave you feedback in the form of complaints, really. There were people that were complaining about a particular feature. So this is why they came up with something new to help solve that problem. But you could get feedback from many different avenues. It could come from other product managers. It could come from your peers. It could come from legal, who might have some insights on how to best communicate how the new feature works, so that you kind of, CYA a little bit. There are many different avenues where you can get insight as far as how to best communicate to the end user. It's always great to get feedback directly from the user, and that's typically via reviews. Sometimes the organization might do focus groups, etc. So this is where you not only create content based on how something works, right? Typically, you might get access to a test environment where you can test the feature out for yourself, so you can get an idea of how to write instructions for that particular feature. But it's always good to have real human feedback. So that is a particular phase you want to incorporate when you are creating your technical content. And then the last phase, which was basically my little modification to kind of help you as a technical writer. In most cases, maybe not all, definitely not all cases, but in most cases, you will be publishing your own content. Typically, a company will have a content management system where after you finished creating your content and you got the feedback and you got the reviews and everything is ready to go, you're the one that will populate it in a content management system, put it in a website, put it in the app, or whatever environment it needs to go out to the world. So, and during that process is where you will think about how others will be able to access your information. So it just depends on the company and the different type of tools that they have. It could be published to a blog, for example, or it could be a printed document, or it could be PDF, etc. Wikipedia. There are many different ways that content can be published today. So that is that phase. And during that phase is where you evaluate. So you want to see how people are responding to the content. You want to see if it's working, etc. So I kind of feel like evaluate from the original ADDIE model goes hand in hand with publishing your content. All right. So hopefully that helps you get an idea of the ADDIE process, the ADDIE model. But I switch it up a little bit, and to help you remember, add dip to the party. So hopefully that will help you remember. And in this worksheet, there are some questions that you can ask. So make sure you review this section. This is where your product manager basically explained the feature that we will be working with throughout this course. And here are some questions to help you start thinking about this process. But the next lesson will break it down even further. All right, hopefully that helps.